Hello, Spanish Fork City. I'm June, the happy Thai girl. I have a feeling that chili is a staple in your life. You can make chili dogs, chili fries, or just enjoy a yummy bowl of chili with grilled cheese. Well, I have the most simple, the most delicious, and the best classic chili recipe around. I would love to share it with you today on Cooking Made Easy with June, brought to you by Macy's, the happy shopping store in Spanish Fork. Hello, welcome to Cooking Made Easy with June, brought to you by Macy's and of course Spanish Fork 17. Today we're making an awesome chili recipe. It's a classic chili recipe that you are going to love. And most of the ingredients would already probably be in your cupboard right now. So I'm going to put a couple tablespoons of oil. Now I'm going to double. I am so sorry. I know Pete hates when I do that, but I want to make a big pot. So I'm going to put some olive oil to let it get heat up, and I'm going to go ahead and mince my onion. I have a little chopper that minces it till it's really, really small, which is fine, but sometimes I hate to pull out another gadget, right? So I just cut up my onion here on a cutting board. Okay, so again, like I cut the ends off, and then I cut it in half lengthwise, and then I peel off the peel. It seems to me the easiest way to take off the peel. And then I just slice it lengthwise into small pieces, and then I just chop it like that. But of course, you know, the end piece is always difficult, so then you can just use your hands and just chop it all up randomly. It doesn't matter. But for this recipe, it's better if you have the smaller, the better. All right, we're almost there. And I'm okay with chunks. Some people don't like chunks of onions, but we're going to cook it pretty thoroughly. Okay, so you have that. I'm just going to put this on my pot. Can you hear the sizzle? My oil is hot. Okay. All right, you guys, guess what? That's the only chopping you can do for the whole meal. Isn't that awesome? We're just going to cook our onions until it's translucent, which means kind of see-through a little bit. So you're going to cook it a little bit longer than you may think. The reason why I said, now I know it's going to be, by the time they air the show, it'll probably be spring, summer, but like I said, my husband's from Alabama, and we love a good chili dog. So actually, not just chili dog, but a chili slaw dog. So what I would do though, I would do the recipe but leave out the beans, the kidney beans, and it's going to be amazing for the chili dogs, the chili slaw dogs. Or if you're making chili dogs, you can do that also. Of course, chili in the winter, it's amazing with grilled cheese. So we are gonna make some grilled cheese today. But the chili, another way to serve your chili, of course, is your loaded corn chips. Have you ever seen that? Where you just get a bowl of corn chips and you pour chili and cheese and you put it in the oven. It's so good. You make your own loaded fries. How about chili fries? Okay, I can go on forever with chili, but this recipe, I guarantee you, you're going to love. If you load your fries or corn chips, I would leave out the beans. All right, so let's look at these onions. I think this is about right there. Okay. Can you smell that? No, you can't. So then you need a pound of ground beef, but I prefer ground sirloin, and it's 90%. This one was on sale at Macy's, and it was actually 93% lean. So this is a really healthy recipe. The only real fat might be the 7% or the 10% from the beef, but maybe a little bit from the olive oil, but that's it. Not a lot of bad ingredients. And I read somewhere where when there's like spaghetti or like chili, when there's a lot of tomato in it, it's actually considered a vegetable for you when you're eating it. So there you go. Okay, so this is gonna be a minute. I'm going to, because I doubled it, this is 2 pounds of beef. So I want to make sure, you want to make sure that it's kind of brown, right? You don't have to cook it all the way because we will be simmering it. but you want it to be kind of brown. So the trick to that is I'm going to cover it and let it brown on the bottom. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to put in here. So while that is browning up, I want to show you the kidney beans. So this is 2 cans, but how I do it is I use this colander or this strainer, and you want to like open your can of beans, put it in here and rinse it. So you don't want to have that kind of like has a gummy liquid in there, and I don't love. So I just pour it in there, and while in here you rinse it, and then you strain it out, and then you have your rinsed beans, right? Okay, so I'm going to check our hamburger, which I think will be ready for me to start adding things to. Okay, so you see on the bottom you've got some browning going on. Okay. Okay, I forgot to pull out my chili powder, so I'm gonna pull that out right now. The chili powder. So I get the cheapest chili powder. I get the cheapest off-brand, like, you know, the store brand chili powder, and then your cumin, which is amazing. Lasts so long, and I love that smell. And then I'm going to show you my beef broth. So what you do is you can buy the beef broth, and then you can put it in there or already made, but I love better than bouillon beef broth. So for every teaspoon is like a cup. So I'm gonna put about 1.5 teaspoons. And I'm just going to, it doesn't have to be completely dissolved, but I love this on hand because I can use my beef broth in like this, and in like braising ribs, or like when I make my pot roast. I love to add that extra flavor of the beef broth in there. So I'm just gonna do that right now real quick and add my beef broth. Okay. All right, that's it. And so I'm going to go ahead and add everything now. So we have our beef browned enough to ready to go. Okay. Stir a little bit more. Okay. So now we just add everything. I'm just gonna go ahead and add the spices first. So we have, let's see, here's my recipe. 2.5 teaspoons of chili powder. Now you can also add 3 if you'd like. It makes it a little bit more spicy. So as you can see, I'm kind of heaping it and guessing on the 1/2 teaspoon. So it won't really hurt if it's a tiny bit more chili. And also, you can also add 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, but I'm not gonna make it, I think it's spicy enough. Usually I have my granddaughter over and the kids, and I want her to be able to eat it. So, okay, so then we have 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. So that's 1. Oh, look at how I measure. It's a little heaping, but that's fine. And then we have 3 tablespoons of sugar. So, oops, 1, 2, and 3. And then we have tomato paste, garlic powder. Here's my garlic powder, tablespoon of garlic powder. See, my tablespoon is messy, so I'm just gonna pour it in here. Again, you can be liberal or whatever, but get at least a tablespoon in there. And then we have chili powder, cumin. Oh my gosh, can't forget the cumin. 2 tablespoons of cumin. So it's quite a bit cumin, but I love that in here. So I guess chili is chile, so I guess it's considered a Mexican meal, right? So cumin is very common. I'm gonna put this in here. All right, I'm going to stir that a little bit to get all the seasoning onto my beef and onion. And then I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. I have my tomato paste already in there. It'll all mix together eventually. So let's go ahead and add the beef. Now, well, let's go ahead and add the tomato sauce. There's 2 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce. And 2, well, now again, I'm doubling, so it's only 1. So 1 can of petite tomatoes diced. I'm gonna put 2 because I'm doubling. Now that I think about it, I'm doubling, so I need to double my chili powder. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna put 2 more which is about 2.5, which is about a tablespoon of chili. And then cumin is 2 more tablespoons. You guys, I'm glad I caught that. It was not gonna taste good. And I've been revving up this recipe to these guys. Okay, I'm gonna add more sugar. Oh my goodness. So I am doubling. It's a lot of chili, right? So another tablespoon of garlic powder and 2 more of my tomato paste. Glad I remembered that. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig this in here. This bugs me about tomato paste. I wish they would come in a jar that you can like store it, because it comes in a can, in the smallest can, and I never use all of it. Unless you're doing a spaghetti sauce, I suppose. Garlic powder, oh, so then I'm gonna need more beef broth. So this is 1.5, I'm gonna add another 1.5, we should be 3. Almost there, a little bit more. Okay, so I'm gonna add more. Now everything's bubbling up. Running out, I gotta go to the store and get some more. I'm gonna add my beef broth. Now I'm gonna stir this up first. Tomato paste. Oh, you guys can see this. Oh, okay, all my beef broth on the bottom. That's okay. It's gonna all mix together, but I just like to get it soft. So I've got all my things in there. I wanna make sure I got this right, gosh. All right, and then now I'm gonna add the kidney beans. Yum. All right, you guys. I think that's it. I'm gonna check again. Got my chili powder, cumin, sugar, tomato paste, garlic powder, beef broth, diced tomatoes, 2 of those, 2 kidney beans, and 2 8-ounce of chili sauce. Okay, I think we got it right, yay! Okay, let's go ahead and I'm gonna cover it and bring it to a boil. And let it simmer for 20 to 25 minutes. So we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to show you how to make some grilled cheese. I know you think it's such an easy thing to do, but some people don't know how to do it, and we want some grilled cheese for our chili, right? So come back. All right, welcome back. So I forgot to tell you that when we simmer the chili, we do uncover it. We simmer it uncovered, so for about 20-25 minutes. So, okay, so I've got here a griddle here that I'm going to make some some toasted cheese sandwiches. So people assume a lot, I assume a lot that, oh, you should know how to do, everybody knows how to do grilled cheese, right? Well, I don't know, but I'll give you some different tips and variations. I love, love, love good sourdough. So I'm going to make sourdough grilled cheese. It's so awesome. But of course the pieces are a little off, but it's gonna be just fine. It's gonna make these huge pieces and we're just gonna cut them up, okay? So let's start. I'm going to butter the bread. Now I have my butter really soft, so that's gonna be good. So we butter the bread on one side. Before I put them all on, I'm going to butter all the sides first. And I normally love the cheese sliced already, or I like to shred my own cheese. I feel like that just tastes better, but I have grated cheese already, so for the sake of time, I will also just use the already shredded cheese. So we butter pretty generously on this, but the bread's really thin, so you don't have to put a ton, honestly, but the butter is so good though. So I butter all, even to the edge, because that's where you're gonna eat too, right? So let's go ahead and start a couple slices. The reason why I say you shouldn't assume that people know how to do this is because I had a friend who, when I was younger, in another neighborhood, I made her a dish and she wanted the recipe, I'm gonna stir the chili a little bit. I got it on high, so I don't want it to scorch. I'm gonna turn it down to medium to let it simmer. Okay, so I had a friend and she asked me how to make these Thai noodles, and so I told her how to do it. But I didn't tell her that you had to drain the noodles. I just assumed that she knew you soak the noodles in water, that you've got to drain it. You can't just put it all in there, right? But that's my assumption. And I just figured that she knew how, but she didn't. And she put the whole thing in there. She soaked it in, and she put the water and everything in. So ever since then, that was back in in 1990, whatever. And ever since then, I said, oh my gosh, I cannot assume that people understand what I'm saying, the steps. We forget the steps. Hence the communication issue. That looks like a lot of cheese, but the grated ones, I always seem, it seems to shrink a lot more. So, all right, I'm gonna make more. Big, huge pieces. Look at how big these are. But we'll cut them up and we'll share. I don't know. Some people can eat all this. It's a lot of grilled cheese and chili. So I'm going to put that there. Put some cheese. So again, I don't love a lot of cheese on here, and I don't normally would just put a thin slice on it. But I'm gonna put this on here and then butter it because I want it to start melting. Now I also have one of those little griddles where you like cover it and it's kind of like you put the sandwich in and you fold it. It's like a press already, but that only makes like one at a time. So when you're making for a lot of people, you do want to use a griddle like this. And I'll show you. Oops. I think that should be enough for the crowd, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cut this into 3 sandwiches probably, or 3 halves. No, 3 sections. Okay. So it's kind of hard to tell when you have just the one side cooking at a time. So I like to peek under there. That's light brown. I like to peek under here. I'll press it down a little bit. And I barely just did that one. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that one over and see. Okay, that's a good one, but we're going to see how the shredded cheese is kind of a mess. So we can always turn it back to brown the other side. So I'm just going to press it down and let it cook a little bit longer. And the thing with the griddle though, it's got the coils. So you notice how uneven it is. So I'm just gonna take this cheese. That look awesome. It's gonna be so awesome when you grill it. And so you kind of have to find where the hot spots are, get to know your griddle. I know that's weird, but it's the same with your oven. You have to get to know all your appliances. It's all so different, no matter how expensive or whatever it is. Okay, so hold it. Oh, that one's not very long. That's okay. I'll just cook this side. So this must be a lower side oven. See how quickly that cooks. I know that looks messy, but it's gonna be so good. Don't you love all these little pieces of cheese all over the place? So, okay, I'll let that sit. I'm gonna stir my chili again because it's doing more than a boil here. Oh, look at that, guys. Doesn't that look yummy? I love the canned fresh tomatoes. It's already peeled for you and it just makes it look even more fresh and homemade. So I'm gonna have to admit, the first time I ever had grilled cheese was in America. I wonder, it mustn't be an Italian thing. I don't know where it stems from. Maybe my assistants can figure out where grilled cheese started here, and my cameraman, Chris. Where does grilled cheese start? But you guys, this sourdough bread is so good. I'll give a shout out to Lemon and Sage Market, because I used to do cooking shows on there, and they have this Abigail's Oven, and they sell fresh sourdough. Oh, and also, oh my gosh, how did I forget his name? He also makes sourdough. In fact, he was on our show, and he showed us how to make sourdough from scratch. It is such a process. I've never made it, and I won't make it, I don't think, unless I have so much time on my hands. But that's available at Lemon and Sage Market down the street in Springville. And also, if you really want to make it, try making it. On the Cooking Made with June episode, just punch in sourdough And then you'll have it. Okay, I'm gonna let this, oh my gosh, I don't wanna have it on high, no wonder. Silly me. Once you start it on 300, 350, and then you put it on high to brown it. All right, so I think what we're gonna do is take a break, and these will be all done, and we can have some yummy, yummy chili. This is almost done, so come back. All right, welcome back everyone. I'm just cutting up the grilled cheese, and like I said, they're huge, right? So I'm just going to cut it all these different ways. So let's do it like that. And there's some of these little pieces that we can put on the plate, or we just, it doesn't matter, for the little kids. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, this is, chili is so yummy hot. Let's go ahead and dish our chili up and make our plate here. Oh, you guys, I wish you could be here to smell all this. I'm gonna take a paper towel and wipe this up a little bit. And then I'm going to put my, let me move this to the side. And let's see, shall we put a little bit more cheese just for garnishing? And let's put a dollop of sour cream on top. My timer always goes off at the wrong moment. Put a dollop sour cream. And let's put a few green onions on top. And let's put some cheese, a cheese sandwich right there. And a spoon right into the chili. Look at that. Okay, let me turn off this timer for quick. All right, look at how yummy that looks. So you can have it all ready for your family, and I'm just going to have a tiny bit. It's so hot, because it's just barely got done. So, but I just want to taste it. You just never know, because I was like, doubled it. Hot bean. Hot. I forget how I love this recipe. So good. Can't wait till you try it. So, I don't know. You can double it. You can about triple it if you want to. And I bet you can even freeze it. Once it's cold, and put in containers and freeze it. Like spaghetti sauce and chili, you can freeze it. It's so good. And you warm it up, it's so like fresh. So, I don't know anything about chips. Oh yeah, the biggest thing I want to recommend when you make chili is to use good beef. And 90% at least, 90% lean. I like to get ground sirloin or Angus beef or something like that. I don't love just a hamburger. I don't know why, it just doesn't seem to taste as good. And yeah, and grilled cheese. I hope you know how to make grilled cheese now, if you don't. So until next time, happy cooking.